What is up, Coach Emma here, and welcome back to the Fit Habit Life podcast, where we cut through the noise, talk real health and fitness, sustainable fat loss, and habits that actually work. And on today's podcast, I'm going to be talking about the hardest part about fat loss, body composition change, building muscle, healing your gut, just in general health pursuits, the real challenge. It's not what you think. But before I dig in, I wanted to thank you for listening. If you've been enjoying the show, you've been a regular listener, this show's been providing you value. If you could share the show, rate the show, or subscribe, or even comment below, that just helps me get in front of more people, which helps me help more people, which is the goal of this show. So, yeah, I guess let's dig in. But before we dig in, so the last episode I released was called Does Your Coach Suck? And there was something else I forgot to mention. There might be something else. So as I think of them, I will bring them up. But if you have an online coach and your coach gets upset at you for messaging them or asking questions, I'm like, that's the point of an online coach. I like to sell my online coaching as a 24-hour coach in your pocket. Like I'm there with you 24 hours a day. You can just shoot me a message anytime. I might not get back to you right away depending on the time of day, but you can message me any hour of the day. Oftentimes my clients message me in the evenings or late evenings as they're winding down from bed because, during the day people have jobs. So anyway, you can message me anytime, but if your coach doesn't like that, kind of a red flag. I mean, especially if it's an online coach. If it's an in-person coach and they don't offer any online services and you're texting them all the time, that would probably be annoying. Anyway, yeah, so just wanted to add that. But now, the hardest part of really any health and fitness pursuit, and it's not what you think. It's not the workouts. It's not hitting the macros. It's not doing the actions you're supposed to do. It's the waiting for the results. Because oftentimes, the results don't happen overnight. They take probably a couple weeks at least. And so oftentimes if you're in the midst, you're doing your workouts, you're being consistent, the scale might not move for 3 weeks. It might stay the exact same. Your body composition probably is changing. But I have some clients that's like, we'll be in a fat loss phase and for a couple weeks the scale's not changing, but I've dropped their calories, so I know they're in a deficit. Part of it is your body might be holding on to more water. Part of it too, sometimes it takes a bit for your body to adapt. So even though we've made changes, it takes time for those physiological processes to happen. So really the hardest part of any health and fitness pursuit is patience. Building muscle is the same way. It is really hard and it takes a really long time to build muscle, like really long. Unless you're on anabolic steroids, it just takes a long time, especially if you've been training for a while. I took progress photos 5 minutes ago or whatever. And honestly, I think this is the best physique I've ever had. This is not the lightest I've ever been. It's definitely not the heaviest I've ever been, but I think my body has the most muscle mass it's ever had on its frame. And you can tell, it looks pretty good. Not trying to toot my own horn. I've been doing this for 14 years. I've been struggling with my weight for 14 years. I've been lifting weights for 14 years. I've done a lot of things wrong, a lot of things right. Anyway, point being, it takes a lot of time to build muscle. And I was looking back on my old progress photos because I just took some and I like to kind of see have I changed? And yeah, I have. But it's taken a long time and I can see the muscle progression over the past 3-4 years. Because really, So my background, I was an overexerciser. I was a D1 athlete. I played water polo in college. COVID hit my senior year. And it was terrible. I lived in California in the strictest county in the entire country. Could not go to the gym. Pools were closed. So, could not see anybody. Could not do anything. Couldn't even go to the beach for a really long time. And so I used exercise as my coping mechanism. I would just try to manually burn calories all day. I probably still worked out 4 hours or more a day. I would do kind of high intensity interval training, sort of strength training, air quotes, because it's not actually strength training. I did not have access to a lot of equipment though, to be fair. We had like some resistance bands. I bought a pull-up dip machine. We had a couple pairs of dumbbells that weren't very heavy. And at the time it was really hard to get equipment because everybody was trying to buy the equipment. I started jump roping, running. Eventually the pools opened up. Anyway, point being, was doing so much. So it wasn't until probably 3-ish years ago when I moved to Utah that I stopped doing cardio and I just started strength training and focused on trying to heal my hormones. I had not had a menstrual cycle for a while. And put my body into an excess surplus of calories. But anyway, so the past probably 3-ish years, there's been a drastic transformation in my physique. And I will say, since hiring my coach, and actually fueling my body adequately, healing my gut, training in different lengthened positions. I primarily used to do just like compound lifts. But now I've been leveraging like machines, cables, training in different... Anyway, point being, my body's transformed drastically. You can see my back muscles, my shoulders, my arms are very swole. I wear a lot of baggy clothes, and so actually I met somebody who I've met online in person, and when I wore like a nice outfit or something that was fitted for my body, she was like, wow, you're like really like... Anyway, I'm leaner than I look because I wear baggy clothes, and I just have a chubby face. I've always had a chubby face. But anyway, point being, building muscle takes a lot of time. I've been doing this for decades. I built muscle not very quickly or effectively as a teenager, early college years, just because I had never really trained. So when you start strength training, you're going to build muscle, even if the program's not optimal, even if you're not hitting optimal nutrition. But as you progress and as you become more advanced, you have to be more precise and better. Like, you have to train more effectively. You have to have a periodized approach. You have to have a periodized nutrition approach. You have to be in a caloric surplus to build muscle as you're progressing. You have to be eating enough protein to repair and rebuild that muscle tissue. You need to be eating enough fat to support your nutrient absorption, support your hormonal health, support your body's natural production of testosterone. You need to be eating enough carbs to fuel your training. And that was really one of the biggest levers once healing my gut, was fueling my training adequately. Like actually eating enough carbs. I probably eat almost 400 grams of carbs a day. And that has up-leveled my performance, which has allowed me to build more muscle tissue. So, but point being, this shit takes time. It just does. Fat loss takes time. As I said, there's some clients where that first week of fat loss, when we reduce their calories, they'll lose 5 pounds quickly because they're eating less food, their body's holding on to less water because they're eating less carbs, there's less glycogen that's filling up their muscle bellies. So it's like, some people it's quick. Some people it might take a while because their body will retain more water, or their body's just trying to adjust and adapt. So, point being, if you've been doing things for a while, well, there's, I guess, 2 things. if you've been doing things incorrectly for a while, and by a while I mean over a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, maybe not even a month, we'll say like 3 months or more, and you have not seen progress, your strength is not increasing, your body composition is not changing, and you're measuring your progress by using the scale, tape measurements, progress photos, maybe DEXA scans, body composition changes, or body fat percentage testing, and nothing is changing, then the approach you're taking probably isn't great. But if you are working with a coach, or you do know what you're doing and you're progressing, your strength is improving, your energy levels are improving, your sleep is pretty solid, you're training appropriately, and it's been a couple weeks and things haven't changed, just give it time. Sometimes it takes some time. Usually I like to wait 3 to 4 weeks before making any adjustments after I make an adjustment with a client. Because some clients, as I said, respond really quickly. Some, it takes time. So if this is your first venture into muscle building or fat loss, it's going to take time, but don't change things right away. If the scale hasn't changed after a day, that's very normal. Sometimes the scale will go up if you drop calories. It's very rare, but sometimes it does, depending on the types of foods you consumed. Maybe you strength trained the day before. That tends to cause a little bit of inflammation, water retention. If your sleep wasn't great, that will cause more water retention and the scale to be higher. So don't use one day as a metric. Measure your progress over 2 weeks. And if after 2 weeks, if you've made a change and it hasn't changed, then there might be worth making another adjustment. But my point with this is things take time, and it takes time for your body to adapt. Like I've talked about before, like a sustainable, like an ideal amount of body fat to lose per week is about a pound. 0.5 pound to 1.5 pounds. If you're very overweight, like if you're hundreds of pounds over where you should be, then that scale's probably going to move quite a bit quicker, right? So it could be 5 to 10 or 2 to 5 pounds a week, depending on what you were eating before and the changes that you've been making. Because you probably have a lot of inflammation. But if you're like, maybe 20 pounds, 30, 40 pounds overweight, or heavier than you'd like to be, 1 pound a week is kind of the nice sweet spot. A little bit, some weeks might be a little bit less, some might be a little bit more, but really want to average for about 4 to 5 pounds a month. Well, even I'd say 2 to 5 pounds a month, depending on the client, their height, weight. Like if you're petite individual, like 5 foot, 5'2", probably going to be about 2 to 3 pounds a month. As I said, if you're like 6'4", big, like 50 to 100 pounds overweight, it might be closer to 5 to 6 to 7 pounds a month. Really depends on the client. But average out is about a pound a week. That's pretty slow. I mean, it's not slow, but it feels slow. But if you think about it, if you've been struggling with your weight for a while, or you've been overweight for a while, those are habits you've built over decades. Usually the clients that come to me, it's thing they've been struggling with for at least a decade. Those take a while to change. So in a year, with proper periodization, you can easily lose 20, 30 pounds, which that's pretty quick if you think about it. If it's taken you 10 years and you haven't seen much progress, 1 year to get the body composition that you like, that's pretty quick. So usually most of the clients that come to me, it usually takes 1 to 2 years to get those sustainable long-term results. Depends on the client, depends on what their goals are. But Point being, it takes a while for your body to adapt. So if you haven't seen changes, but you've only been making changes for a couple weeks, give your body some time to adapt. Give your body some time to adjust. Body composition takes time. Fat loss is a lot quicker than muscle building too. For context, muscle building, nice sweet spot, lean muscle build. We don't do dirty bulks at Fit Habit coaching. Those are really terrible for your health overall and are not an effective way to build muscle. So I usually, most of my clients trying to build muscle, the surplus, like above maintenance calories where we're bringing them to is about 200 to 300 above maintenance. Because oftentimes people just start to move more. And so we need a little bit more. Depends on the client. I have one client who we've been consistently upping his calories because the scale is not moving. And he's at like, I think 2,800 calories now. And he's older gentleman, 70 years old, and he's getting stronger and building muscle. Anyway, it takes time. So ideally, building muscle, we want about 1 to 2 pounds a month. If you can do more than that, that's awesome, but realistically, probably not. And again, if you're one of those people where when you drop calories, the scale dips real quickly, then when you bump calories, it'll probably jump pretty quickly too, because that means your body just tends to hold on to more water. So that's something to be mindful of. But again, we're looking for, on average, about 2 pounds a month increase in the scale. So 1/4 to 1/2 pound a week for a lean muscle build to mitigate fat gain. If you're too lean, and for a woman that's probably like 17% body fat or below, you'll probably put on more body fat, and being in the low 20s, 20 to 25% is actually going to help with the muscle building. For men, if you're below 10%, usually getting up to 12% body fat is going to help your performance, like 12 to 15%. It's going to help your performance and help you build more muscle as well. Because performance is really important, right? The better we can perform in our training, the better we will or the better signal we'll send for our body to adapt. And the key in both fat loss and muscle building is to push strength. We want to continue to see our strength increase. Because if we're trying to get strong, we're not trying to burn calories in a fat loss phase. We're trying to maintain muscle mass. Because we're reducing the amount of nutrients our body has to rebuild and repair tissue. So we want to make sure that our body is holding on to the muscle we have. Because if we're trying to manually burn calories, then that's going to send a signal to our body to adapt and downregulate our metabolic rate. Instead of keep our metabolism revved up and roaring, it's going to make your body adapt to a lower caloric intake to handle the stress. So, in fat loss, we're still focusing on getting strong and building muscle. In muscle building phase, we're focused on getting strong and building muscle. The focus of training does not change. It's just the amount of calories we have. So, muscle building phases are a lot more fun, in my opinion. You have more room to enjoy the foods that you like. And I love to eat food, so it's just a lot more fun. But this takes time. Again, if you're trying to build muscle, like 1 to 2 pounds a month is like really, really good. Really good. So, anyway, and use the same metrics. Progress photos, waist measurements, and weight on the scale. And I honestly think weighing yourself daily, depending on the client, I've had to pull it from some clients because sometimes they still let that number affect them. But it's really a great tool to learn and educate yourself about how foods affect your body and as a data point to measure progress and trends over time. Like, oh, the scale goes up when I don't sleep well. As I talked about, that's something that I've noticed. And it does not mean I'm getting fatter. It's like my body's just stressed. It's holding on to more water. Usually my face is puffier. I feel more inflamed. That's fine. If I eat more carbs, usually the scale goes up the next day. Like if I'm pushing upwards of 400 grams of carbs, usually that scale's gonna jump. So anyway, point being, monitor the trends. If nothing's moving, give it time. But if you've given it time and you're like, I'm just not progressing anymore and I need extra guidance and extra help, well, I can help you. So if you're interested in what coaching would look like, you can book a discovery call below. Just 15-minute chat, see if what you're trying to work on, if I can help with. I can probably help with it. I like to help people build muscle, get strong, and improve their body composition the right way. So oftentimes, a lot of my clients that come to me, they have other issues going on underneath that is affecting their ability to build muscle and burn body fat. So that's why I went the kind of functional nutrition route, because if you have a gut health issue, if your hormones are out of whack, it's going to be really hard to build muscle and change your body composition. And as I said, with my progress photos that I looked at today, I've improved quite a bit in the past 8 months or so, for training for a while. As I said, I don't think the training I was doing before was as optimal, and so that affected some of my muscle building potential. But I think fixing my gut and my ability to utilize the nutrients that I'm consuming is what has allowed me, and fueling my body properly has allowed me to put on the amount of muscle mass that I have put on this past year, or 8 months or whatever. So gut health is crucial. So if you have any symptoms, bloating, distension, acid reflux, excessive belching, skin issues, autoimmune condition, chronic fatigue, low energy, gas, I think I already said that, irregular bowel movements, constipation, those things are going to affect your ability to burn body fat and build muscle. So that's why I address those things first. They're also going to affect your body's hormone production. So address the gut, then the hormones. Your body composition will have already improved, but then that's when the fun starts, and you can really push performance, muscle building, and fat loss and get the body composition that you want. So that's why that's the route that I go with my clients. But anyway, if that is something you're interested in, you're like, I'm just stuck and I need help, book a discovery call, we'll chat and see if we're a good fit. But that's kind of the gist. Basically, point of today's episode is change takes time. Body composition change takes time. So be patient. Keep doing the things. Keep showing up. Keep eating your protein. Keep training. Pushing the training intensity. Keep getting your movement in. Don't give up. Because oftentimes when people give up is right when the change is going to happen. People aren't patient enough. This shit takes time. As I said, it takes time. We have to be patient because it will come if you stay consistent. But in the world that we live in with instant groceries, instant DoorDash, one-day delivery from Amazon, which I leveraged today, we're not as patient as we used to be. We don't have as much mental bandwidth. We're like, well, I can just watch, TikTok videos and get that dopamine hit in 5 seconds. Or I can just order something to my house to be delivered within the hour instead of going to the store and doing the thing. So why do I have to wait for my body to change? Because that's nature. That's natural. You don't have control over that. I mean, I'm not going to be graphic, but you can right? Remove body parts, and that's going to get the scale to change, but is that what you really want? No. Any sustainable, healthy change will take time. So be patient is kind of the point of this episode. And if you need help being patient or you need help with your changes, shoot me a message. We'll set up a time to chat and see if it's a good fit. Anyway, that is all for today. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for listening. And if this resonated at all, if you could rate the show, subscribe, share it, that just helps me help more people, which is the goal of this show. So anyway, catch you guys on the next one. Peace.